For years, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been building toward a cosmic crescendo, but the path has shifted dramatically from the announced Avengers, the Kang Dynasty, to the looming Avengers, Doomsday. This was not merely a reactive course correction prompted by behind-the-scenes challenges. It was a signal that Marvel had a different, more profound endgame planned all along. What if the multiverse we thought we understood wasn't just collapsing, but being systematically rewritten by something far older, more dangerous, and intellectually formidable than Kang ever was? The untold story of the Kang Dynasty reveals a startling truth: it was never truly abandoned. Instead, it was always the essential, intricate setup for the inevitable rise of a far greater threat, one whose ideology poses a more insidious danger than simple conquest. Originally envisioned as the Infinity War of the multiverse saga, the Kang Dynasty was designed not as a single narrative, but as a sprawling multiversal epic split across 3 simultaneous, interconnected wars. Each conflict was to be fought against a distinct variant of Kang, representing a fractured aspect of his psyche and a different philosophy of control. This structure elevated the story beyond a simple heroes versus villain trope into a complex narrative about the nature of time, the fragility of reality, and the inevitable collapse of any system built upon the foundation of absolute tyranny. The first variant, Rama-Tut, was conceived as an ancient Egyptian pharaoh who used future technology to crown himself a literal god. His domain was not merely time, but worship, manipulation, and grand illusion. His kingdom was a reconstructed reality, a hybrid of myth and superscience where pyramids floated above deserts powered by time crystals. Facing him would have been the grounded, street-level Avengers like Sam Wilson's Captain America and Shang-Chi, whose battle was as much a psychological struggle against the very logic of time as it was a physical fight. Rama-Tut's chilling revelation to the heroes was meant to be a cornerstone of the film. Every choice you've ever made, every triumph you've ever had, came from me. You are not a hero, you are my creation. This line would have unveiled the horrifying truth that Kang didn't just conquer timelines, he engineered them, scripting the very concept of heroism to serve his narrative. The Second War was set in a dystopian metallic 31st century, the domain of the militaristic Mr. Centurion. This Kang was pure, cold logic, a living weapon commanding legions of half-organic, half-technological soldiers. His world was ruled by mathematical precision, and to defeat him, strategic minds like Doctor Strange, Ironheart, and Bruce Banner would have to outthink a foe who had already calculated every possible outcome. The final variant was Kang the Conqueror himself, freshly exiled and evolving in the quantum realm. This version, scarred by betrayal from his own kind, was driven by a terrifying new purpose. Having seen the Kang paradox, the truth that every variant, upon achieving total dominance, triggers a multiversal collapse and reset, he sought to purge all other Kangs in a mad, genocidal bid to break the cycle. This tripartite version of the film was structured like a cosmic chessboard, with the Avengers as unwitting pawns in a larger game. As they fought their separate battles, they would have slowly realized their conflicts were orchestrated by a single, shadowy force, the Time Variance Authority, TVA. No longer just bureaucratic time managers, the TVA would have been revealed as Kang's personal army, and the sacred timeline exposed as a fraud, a selectively curated reality designed to prune anyone with the potential to challenge Kang's rule. It is within this context that the first, chilling seed for Dr. Doom was planted. Insider reports describe a subtle, haunting cameo, a shadowed figure in a hood glimpsed in a forgotten TVA databank file labeled Erase Threat, Victor Von Doom. In this original blueprint, Kang knew about Doom. He recognized him as the sole intellectual and spiritual force capable of unraveling his entire empire, and thus had him preemptively pruned from existence. This single detail redefines the TVA's purpose. They were not guardians of time, but suppressors of evolution, ensuring no being could ever ascend beyond Kang's control. The original Kang Dynasty was building towards a climax not of victory, but of cataclysmic unraveling. As Loki, the film's emotional core, discovered the truth of the TVA, that every agent was a failed hero, recruited from a dead timeline, he would make the bold choice to break the system entirely, unleashing every timeline even at the cost of total chaos. This act would cause the TVA to explode, ripping holes across existence and scattering the Avengers across collapsing realities. The film's final act would see them erased, not into nothingness, but into the void. However, this void was never meant to be a mere graveyard, it was destined to evolve into the nightmarish patchwork planet of Battleworld. The final moments would have been a haunting montage of forgotten heroes, a Tony Stark from a dead timeline, a Natasha Romanoff who survived Vormir, a Steve Rogers walking through a wasteland of collapsed Earths, all awakening in this chaotic new realm. The most profound twist was that Kang was not the master of this new domain, he was merely the catalyst. Someone else, a patient and brilliant survivor, had been waiting in the ruins. This intricate plan forms the essential backdrop for Marvel's real-world pivot. When Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania underperformed, and Jonathan Majors faced legal troubles, Marvel's response was not to panic, but to metabolize these setbacks into the narrative itself. The Kang variants were written out, the fractured timeline was reborn, and the mysterious threat Kang so feared, Dr. Doom, was accelerated to the forefront. Therefore, Avengers: Doomsday is not a simple replacement, it is the logical continuation and philosophical evolution of the story the Kang Dynasty was always building. It is the universe's immune response to the disease of tyranny. Avengers: Doomsday would logically pick up in the eerie silence after the disaster of the Kang Dynasty. The void has now fully coalesced into Battleworld, and from its ashes, Victor Von Doom emerges. Crucially, he does not rise as a classic conqueror, but as a witness and a survivor. He alone understands the fundamental truth Kang never grasped. You cannot control the flow of time, but you can become the architect of what remains. Doom's ascent redefines the very concept of divinity within the MCU. Where Kang saw dominance through temporal manipulation, Doom seeks perfection through meticulous, artistic reconstruction. He is the cosmic scavenger, forging his new world from the remnants of fallen ones, scraps of Stark's armor, the shattered core of the TVA, alien relics from the Kree Skrull empires, all fused with his own potent sorcery. At the center of his new dominion, his Latveria beyond time, lies the repurposed Chrono engine, now forged into the heart of Battleworld, its rhythm synced to Doom's own pulse. This is the saga's great metaphysical pivot. If Kang ruled through external fear and technology, Doom rules through internal, unshakable conviction. His belief in his own vision literally bends reality to his will. He doesn't present himself as a tyrant to Loki, who awakens in this new order, but as a fellow god offering a throne beyond chaos. The temptation for Loki, the eternal seeker of purpose, is immense, and he initially assists Doom in stabilizing the chaotic fragments of timelines. However, he soon discerns the horrifying truth. Doom is not rebuilding reality, he is rewriting it. Every resurrected city, every reformed law of physics, is a mere reflection of Doom's ideal civilization, a world of harmony achieved through the utter erasure of free will and individuality. It is order as a beautiful, silent prison. The surviving Avengers who awaken across this new world feel its wrongness instinctively. Doctor Strange discovers that magic, which draws its power from chaos and uncertainty, is suffocating in the sterile predictability of Doom's perfection. A resistance coalesces, led not by the traditional Avengers, but by a weary, older variant of Reed Richards, a man haunted by the ghosts of countless destroyed universes. It is Reed who articulates the central philosophical conflict of the entire saga. If perfection exists, it means time is stopped, and if time stops, life dies. The conflict escalates to a cosmic scale when a low, resonant hum begins to pulse through Battleworld. This is not the Chrono engine stabilizing, but the awakening of the Beyonder, a sentient, cosmic entity that Kang had discovered and buried eons ago. The Beyonder is composed of the condensed consciousness of every dead universe, a being of pure thought that represents creation without control. Kang had contained it, fearing what he could not master. Doom, in his hubris, has now reawakened it. The Beyonder's emergence threatens to unmake Battleworld not out of malice, but simply because its infinite awareness is incompatible with a constrained, curated reality. Doom, tragically blinded by his own certainty, misinterprets this awakening as a form of cosmic worship. In his ultimate act of arrogance, he chooses not to collaborate or understand, but to consume. He absorbs the Beyonder's essence, fusing his own will with the raw consciousness of creation itself. He becomes a god, but a god in profound agony, the living embodiment of the universe's greatest contradiction. The fusion is cataclysmic, causing Battleworld to implode into a singularity. In the final moments, Reed Richards offers Doom his hand, not in battle, but in reconciliation, telling him, "You were never meant to fight the universe, you were meant to understand it." But Doom, defined by his pride, refuses. He chooses to hold on to his perfect vision, and in doing so, triggers an explosion of transformative energy that dissolves the boundaries of worlds, seeding the rebirth of a new, infinite and chaotic multiverse. Yet, the finale holds a final, profound revelation. This rebirth is not a clean slate. Doom's consciousness, fused with the Beyonder, has been uploaded into the fundamental source code of the new multiverse. He is the ghost in the machine, the silent architect whose influence lingers in the flawless, predictable rhythms of the newborn stars and galaxies. The reborn cosmos is vibrant and boundless, but it initially lacks the beautiful chaos of true life, the spark of imperfection that defines freedom. This sets the stage for the final chapter, where the universe must learn to tell its own story, free from the designs of both the Conqueror and the God. The story of Avengers, Doomsday, and the lost Kang Dynasty reveals a stunning thematic continuity. The multiverse saga is not merely a sequence of battles with powerful villains, it is a deep philosophical exploration of control, chaos, and the redemptive necessity of imperfection. Kang's Dynasty was a story about the end of control. Doomsday is a story about the poignant illusion of freedom within a perfectly designed cage. Marvel's pivot does not erase its past plans. It completes a grand, cosmic circle it began years ago, transforming a potential narrative crisis into the perfect evolution of its own mythology. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, refused both a tyrant and a god, and in the ensuing struggle, it may have finally, truly found its soul.